días.
Hello.
Alright,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Hey, bud.
He's big.
¿Le queda grande? Sí. Okay. Very interesante. Yeah, just twist it to the left. Oh yeah, it's fine. We can leave it unlocked. Yeah, so a lot of dogs, the issue is when they're on a leash, they're feeling uncomfortable about something, they're feeling insecure about something. And so when something approaches, they feel the need to protect. But nearly every dog that we can get them on a muzzle and on a leash, we pass that leash over, nearly every dog suddenly has a little bit of an attitude shift where they start, there we go, buddy, where he can accept me. He couldn't accept me on Friday. I couldn't even touch him on Friday. We had to stay outside, but he's feeling a little bit better today.
Hey, Ben. Please,
Kind of like a
will
persona.
you go ask Ben to bring a dog out so we can just kind of see how it's ready?
So new person comes in, new person leaves, and now he's fine again. Yeah, so for him, every new thing is very just stressful. So let's see. Gotcha. Yeah, this is actually about 1/5 of what it was on Friday.
So you just
Entonces, esto es normal. That's good.
yeah. That little Malinois is asking for it. Hey, sweet.
All right, so this is immediately after the owners have left. So he's on a muzzle, and with them gone, he's actually a touch calmer. Well, calmer in the sense that he's not lashing out anymore, but also a little bit insecure. You can see that, like his body language, he's like a little bit not quite so clear on what he's supposed to do. And part of that, we're adjusting some training equipment here, he was on a harness, so we're getting him off the harness and stuff like that. And so the first thing we've got to do is we have to build a relationship with this dog so that we can handle him. Because he's on a muzzle now. So like I say, they came in for an evaluation on Friday. Today's Monday. They came in on Friday, and this dog was lunging and trying to bite me and lunging at everything and everyone. And as we saw him, I could tell that there was some realness behind that he would bite. I don't think that he would, and he has actually bit people. I don't think that he would commit to it in the sense that he's going to be like full on, I'm going to attack you and we're going to go until I'm killing you and all that type of stuff. I don't think he's that committed to it, but he's definitely one that will bite, and he's proven that he'll bite. And so that's where we said, okay, on Friday we said, all right, let's do our boot camp. Let's bring him in Monday, and let's bring him on a muzzle. And so he's going to be here for about a month. He can't obviously be on a muzzle the whole time. And so we need to quickly create relationship with him, teach him where we want to be, teach him who we are, so that muzzle can come off, so that we can just be normal with him. Right now Joe's got the muzzle off because he's already shown that he can. When he goes back kind of to what we call general population, that sounds like prison, but anyways, when he goes back to just being with the other dogs and handled by everyone, all of our techs and all that, we'll probably put the muzzle back on. But right now he's already comfortable enough where we can take it off. So like I say, a lot of times what's happening is good owners are accidentally creating an environment where the dog is feeling stressed. And so like I say, he comes from good owners. These are people that have tried a lot of things, that have worked hard, that love their dog, that give him everything he needs, that care for him. But he's a big dog with big drive, and there's some intensity in there. And so when you take that and you add a little bit of insecurity, then what we find is a dog who, when the dog's not getting the leadership that he needs, therefore the insecurity comes in. That's where, like I say, he's willing to, lunge at people that are coming near his owners, coming near him. Whereas now that the owners are gone, good boy, now that the owners are gone, he's already feeling a little bit different. You can tell he's carrying himself differently. He's kind of looking out the window, maybe looking to find those owners. But that's okay. And so what Joe's going to do, one thing that we always preach a lot of is focus, communication, and relationship are at the core of getting our dogs on the same page as us. And so focus begets relationship. Most dogs that we meet for the first time don't have a whole lot of focus on their owners. Even they might be protecting their owners, but they're still not focused on their owners. They might love their owners, but they're still not focused on their owners. There might be a lot of good things, there might be a lot of positive association with the owners, but they're still not focused on their owners. They're still far more focused on outside stimuli. And so at the root of a good relationship, and a good relationship as we define it would be a dog who sees us in a leadership role, who's happy about that, and is happy to please his or her owner. And where we have an owner who respects the dog as a living, breathing creature that needs things that we're able to provide. So anyways, at the root of that type of relationship is solid focus. Having a dog who pays attention to the owner, having a dog who, good boy, having a dog who's looking to the owner as someone who has answers. This is a dog who, when we first met him on Friday, didn't have any answers from his owners, and so he was having to come up with all the answers himself. And when you've got a strong German Shepherd that's insecure, needing to find answers, most of the time that's going to come out in the form of, barking, lunging, aggression, things like that. So here Joe is building focus, and so he's using some leash communication and some e-collar communication to build that focus. And so we always talk about focus being built as a product of spatial awareness. And so you notice that when the dog loses focus, Joe creates some space, moves away from the dog, there we go, and uses a little bit of communication with the leash or the e-collar or both to kind of say, oh, hey, I'm over here now. And in the act of doing that, we're 5 minutes in, 5 minutes and 15 seconds in as I'm recording this, you can see how much focus this dog has on Joe. And it's a positive. The dog's looking to him like, oh, okay, cool. You get some answers. So there we lost a little bit of focus. And so, Lee, can I get you to come walk by? So, just 5 minutes ago, as Lee walked in, start the day, this dog barked at him, and he may bark again, but I want to see that now that the dog is, kind of so there we go. So as he feels pressure from Lee, hi Lee, Joe creates some space and gets the attention back. Because where focus exists, there isn't room. And so you see there, Joe's using some low-level stimulation with the e-collar to say, oh, no, you actually got to pay attention over here. Because where focus exists, there doesn't exist a whole lot of room for being crazy. And so there we lost focus. And so he gets it back using some spatial awareness. And he's just standing here, not being a threat, but in the dog's mind, he's perceiving it as a threat. And so you see it, a lot of folks are worried about, with a dog like this, like he's big, he's powerful, he lunges. You're noticing it's not taking a whole lot of strength to get this dog under control. It's taking angles, it's taking patience, it's taking clear communication. And to me, that's what leadership is. Leadership is setting very clear boundaries and very clear rules, and then helping the dog stick to them. Boy. And so in just 2 minutes, now the threshold's down to where he's right next to Lee, where 2 minutes ago he literally could not figure out, like he couldn't think on how he was gonna be able to solve this problem. And that's what his life is. So these owners can't really take him walking anywhere. They can't take him to the vet. They can't take him to the groomer because he reacts with big intensity towards everyone. And so this dog has a problem that he doesn't know how to solve. And so by Joe stepping in immediately and saying, oh, I'm a good leader, pay attention to me, and that's a really positive thing, we're immediately starting to see how it's melting away a lot of his fear. So here he's starting to feel a little bit stressed again, so Joe just creates some space, creates some spatial awareness.
Yeah, so I'm on 6 on the e-collar, and then actually went up to 11.
Okay, so 6 and 11, those are both actually very, very low levels. But they're enough to just kind of tap the dog on the shoulder and say, oh, pay attention over here. And that's really the beauty of the e-collar. Done right, you know, we can use such low levels. So anyways, over the course of the next few weeks, we're gonna show one of our transformations with this guy. And we're gonna show how he's gonna go from a dog who can be, you know, pretty darn aggressive with a bite history. He's gone after, you know, people and really anyone he meets on the street. They were, as you know, as we kind of saw in the intro, he doesn't, he seems to be okay with people coming in his house, but he's on the street, he feels nervous. We're going to show how he's actually going to be able to do just fine in those types of scenarios. All right, this is our little saga with Caesar. Stay tough.
Yeah, so Caesar, quite an intense dog. So he'll still like growl at you and bark and stuff when you're going up to the kennel. So he needs to be handled with care, which means we don't get into too much until we see the relationship get better. And it's an art to know when a dog like this can really be handled a lot in situations. And so right now, I know that he's not there. So trying to get him to go further along in our program than he's ready for can end up a little bit dangerous. So right there, that's a pretty good stink eye. That tells us he's not in the right state.
Did you give me a stink eye?
I've seen that turn into develop.
Do you need to go potty then? We can take him out?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get him out. Cool. I think we're gonna see a big amount fall away once he kind of accepts us and kind of this dog just needs a game plan. He needs someone to lay it out for him. This is what you do here and here and here. I think when he does that, you're gonna see him drop a lot of emotional baggage. So if he doesn't like it and you're insisting that he allows you to do it, you're kind of setting yourself apart as the leader. And we can do that. Like through grooming, we do that in a way that's not what people would call dominant or anything like that. It's just, sorry, I'm the dad, and I say this needs to happen, and then we see it through. So you can see that he doesn't love it, but he's actually pretty comfortable with this. So this may be a dog that went to the groomers a lot before he got some aggression. A little uncomfortable with the tail, so I probably won't push that. So let me show you, so I'll work more on that later, but I want to show you what we're doing as far as getting him to sit. So there's a couple of different ways to get a dog to sit. Our options are motivational or compulsion. I typically, right now where we're just teaching a behavior, I kind of want to do this motivationally. Now, I asked him to sit a couple times last week, and I could tell if I would have forced the issue, we would have had a little bit of a fight. Here, good. Sit. So I'm gonna bait him up, good. And then I'm gonna feed him. Now when I get eye contact, I'm gonna release him from this. Okay, good. So a couple things happen there. One, he learns not to break until, sit. Good, good. He learns not to break until I say okay. Okay. But then he learns that also looking at me in the eyes is a good thing, because there are some dogs that can be a little bit weird about that. So I want him communicating well. Now he's really coming alive for this food. Sit. Good. Good. Good job. Okay. Good. So when we do these, when we start on what I call a stay behavior, I start increasing duration, distance, and distraction, and I do it in that order. So right now, where we're asking him to sit, we're getting him to do it for maybe 5 seconds, then we go to maybe 7 or 10, and we just keep increasing that duration until he does it well. Caesar. Good. I'm gonna reward him paying attention to me when I call his name. Sit. Good. So you saw some bad training there. I didn't deliver that food well. Good job. Good. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Okay. Yay. Good boy. Good job, buddy. Okay. So there's where we're gonna go with that, and then we'll start to increase duration. And what I'm gonna do is start like moving around him when we do this. Now I'm gonna start with the e-collar part. So when he came out, he wasn't wearing an e-collar because he still is aggressive with some of the girls. So if they try to put an e-collar on him, he'll bite him. I have enough relationship built up with him that I can get away with it. So we got the collar on, trying to make it a non-issue. So what I'm gonna start doing is heeling him around. Now, so he works on a very low level just because he's such a reactive dog. So what more normal dogs are not gonna feel, a dog that's more on the reactive side of the spectrum are gonna feel this a little better. So we're just gonna have him heel. Good job, buddy. Good. Good. Good boy. Good job. Yes. Good boy. Heel. Good. Okay, so you could see like I pushed the button there and he actually he came into a better heel position, which was good. What I want to do now is I want to start giving him more and more leash. So what that means, I'm going to be relying more heavily on the e-collar and body language to get him into heel position. So you notice like he's kind of jumped up on me a couple times, and at this point I'm just still rewarding it. I don't want to get into like a punitive relationship right now with him. Heel. Good. Sweet.
Here. Good. Good. A little bit closer over here. Here. Good. Good. Here. Good. Here. Good. No. Here. Good. Here. Good. Here. Good. So what I'm doing here, you got various distractions here. Now, one of the big, there's a technique we've developed called step back recall. One of the biggest problems that that folks run into is when they're dealing with aggression or reactivity. Here. Boy. There's always what I call this aggression snowball. So aggression always starts somewhere, right? But what most people, good. What most people are, when most people see aggression, they're usually too late to address it, because like I say, the aggression snowball starts, let's say it starts here when the dog notices something. Here. Good boy. Sit. So for this guy, he's seeing someone walk past, and his snowball was usually pretty quick in the sense that, like, you know, he would see something and immediately start going nuts. And every dog's snowball is different. You know, some dogs like, you know, as they're, here, good. You know, they notice something and they tense up, and their body's, you know, their body's getting tense and they're puffing up and their fur's going up. All of this is part of what we call the aggression snowball. Now, when the dog's eventually, you know, and eventually it might be a second later or 5 seconds later or 10 seconds later, whatever, when the dog is eventually acting aggressive, barking, lunging, attacking, whatever, that's when the owner's trying to like address it. But what had happened is that snowball was tiny at first. And so when you know your dog, you know that like that aggression starts way before the actual aggression. And so what we do is, I had the camera just turn on real quick because I saw a guy over here. I'm like, okay, that's the type of thing that normally sets him off. And if you go back and rewind and look, he was like staring, and that's the beginning of his aggression snowball. And that's the moment that I need to start doing something, because what I want to do is I want to show the dog that when you start feeling this way, pay attention to me. When you feel this way, pay attention to me. When you feel this way, pay attention to me, over and over and over, until we get to the point where the dog's like, I'm feeling this way, where's owner? Because owner's gonna have the, you know, the answers for me. And so the same thing happened. We've got another dog over here that Sarah's working, and this guy's got a little bit of energy. He came out and he was barking a little bit, and he was kind of all over the place. And so Caesar over here started his aggression snowball. And so he started, like I say, well, I'm seeing it now. Initially, his aggression snowball was immediate. See something, lunge, bark, attack. Now his aggression snowball is he's thinking more. And so he sees something and he tenses up and his gaze is there, and he's just, you know, he's locked on mentally. And so there's 3 reasons why dogs screw up. They've got focus problems, communication problems, or relationship problems. So much of aggression is related to focus. And so when I see that his focus is on something I don't like, I need to get it back on me. So right now, you know, the way that he is, there's the dog there, there's people walking behind us over here. That gentleman, you know, continued walking past. Hey, buddy. But his attention and his focus is nowhere like negative, right? You know, he's just like casually observing everything. Whereas initially when we came out, so here he's starting to snowball. Here, good boy, good boy. And I'm actually really low, but what happens is, because his adrenaline, here, good, there we go. Because his adrenaline's shooting up, hey, easy. You know, he reacts a little bit big to it, and that's fine. But I am gonna lower it just a little bit. But so he started his snowball process because a guy with the dog's walking about, you know, 50 feet over here behind the camera. So he started the process, he's puffing up, I'm stepping back here. And so what happens is, good boy, he gets the focus back on me. Sit. Good boy. Down. Good boy. Gets the focus back on me. So, no, down. Down. Good boy. So before, down. Come here. Good boy. So before he really has the chance to start going down this mental path that we know leads to something negative, we're going to address it at that moment. And I would say that when we teach this step back recall technique, that's one of the biggest problems that people run into, is they're waiting too long. Their dog is already actively being aggressive. Like, they're walking, the dog's like, you know, he's puffing up, he's thinking, he's mentally in the wrong spot, and they're not doing anything until the moment he barks. But again, that might be a second too late, or that might be 30 seconds too late. We've got to address it in the beginning. So that's where we are with him. Like I say, when he first came in, he was barking and lunging at everything. Now, I'm guessing if I didn't do anything, he would probably start going down that path. You know, when he was starting his snowball, if I did nothing, he would probably get a little bit more, a little bit more. If the person got closer, you know, he's a little bit more, and he's going to be growling and barking and lunging. But we're able to shut it off real quick by getting him to think about us using very low level stimulation and teaching that recall. And so what should happen, what will happen, it's not, you know, whether or not it will, it's when. So what will happen by next week or next month or whatever, with enough repetition, he's going to get to the point where he's like, all right, I see something that stresses me out, I'm going to pay, you know, instead of even going down that path, he's mentally going to check himself and pay attention, you know, to the handler and stuff like that. So, so in any case, that's a huge part that we're at right now. And so over the next little, you know, the next week or so, we're going to, you know, continue working a lot on this step back recall and saying, stress me, so that I can be the source of solving his stress rather than him trying to solve his stress. Because him trying to solve his stress looks like a shepherd attacking people. When he looks to me, we're calm, everyone's happy. So. All right, so we're taking him out here. So often when we get to a certain point where the dog is doing well, here. Where the dog's doing well, we need to add some challenges. And we need to get the dogs ready for like going back to real life where they're going to be on walks and they're going to be in the neighborhood. Here. Good boy. Good boy. And so, come on. So we'll take him outside of the store here. Now, two things can happen that are both going to be good. He can do nothing, in which case I call it training by omission. And so nothing's happening, but he's still learning, because normally when people pass, he wants to get aggressive and act foolish and stuff like that. And so if nothing happens, it's a big victory. Or if he starts to, like, you know, starts to snowball a little bit and I can work him through that, then it's more victory because we can teach him. So you see here, he's starting to get a little bit too intent. Here. Good. So when I see him getting a little bit too intent, I've got to get the focus back on me. Here. Good. Here.
Yeah.
Come on.
Good. Boy.
Here. Good.
Thanks.
And so this is kind of his first time with this much foot traffic and this many people. Here. Good. This is his first time with this, and so I imagine I'm going to be dancing around quite a bit. You know, all back and forth here. But a few sessions of this, we should start to see him come over. And like I said, there's a difference in being aware. Like right now, he's like aware of stuff, you know. But these are, you know. But like his ears were more relaxed, his body was more relaxed, and so with him, we can tell the difference. Every dog's different, but we can tell the difference when, you know, the ears start to perk up, the body language is such that, you know, that he's like tense or something like that. And so like I say, when we do stuff like this, you gotta be very careful. If someone comes up and says, hey, can I pet your dog? At this point, we just gotta tell them no, you know, he's in training. But here, good boy. Here. So that was a bike that was going past, so he wanted to load up. I did a recall. The bike kept going, so he wanted to load up over there, so I did a recall away. So the key is always away from the distraction to teach the dog to pay attention to me rather than the distraction. Here. Good. Sit.
Boy. Down.
Good.
Down.
Good boy. Here. Good. So the thing about step back recall is that you really can't overdo it. And so sometimes people are like, well, I didn't do it because I wasn't sure if he was actually starting to snowball. And so my response to that is like, well, we still have to do it because here. Good. Here. Good. Here. Good. See, I'm not using the leash a whole lot. I'm using the e-collar and my energy. Here.
Down.
Starting to see some of his old ways. We hadn't seen him bark like that for a week or two. Here. Oh, good boy. Starting to self-check himself there. Good boy. Good. You see that? Now he's starting to want to put more attention on me. Usually we can start to see that within a session or two, where the dog's realizing, no, I'm serious, you gotta pay attention. Good boy, that's better. And so same thing's going on. People are still around, but he's starting to pay more attention to me. Good boy, Caesar. Good boy. Good boy. Because he recognizes through the repetition, I'm serious. I'm just gonna keep calling him. And so the more he learns to do that, and the more he defers to that, the sooner I don't have to do this method, because he's just like, I'm stressed. What are you gonna tell me to do here? And so, sit. There we go. Down. Good boy. Good boy. And so anyways, like I say, when I see that explosion, I like it because we can work him through it, and it shows us where weakness is. Now in his case, the weakness was the kids. There was a couple kids over there off camera like, hey, you know, like pointing and like shouting at the dog, and that he didn't like that. So we got to teach him, you don't have to like it, but you can't react that way. You know, that's not okay. And sure enough, within a couple corrections, a couple step back recalls, he started ignoring them and paying attention to me. So like I said, at this stage, coming to places like this is great, because we can get, you know, in 10 minutes, there's going to be 50 people walking in and out. We're keeping enough of a distance so that we're staying safe, and if someone was really approaching, we could just kind of get out of there. But yeah, you know, stuff like this gives us like tons of repetitions in a short period of time and allows us to teach a ton in like 10 minutes. All right, heading off to Home Depot. Thought we'd add a little bit more video to Caesar's video, because if you remember, Caesar was the one that when he came in, we're driving Joe's car. His steering makes a funny noise. What's that about? I'm not.
Are you a good driver?
I'm not responsible for that.
I've never been in the car with you.
Of course I'm an excellent driver.
Well,
Name that movie. Of course I'm an excellent driver.
I don't know.
Name the movie. Ashley?
I have no idea.
Pay close?
What is it?
Rain Man.
I've never seen that movie.
What? Everyone's seen Rain Man. Dustin Hoffman. Tom Cruise.
I hate
Before
Tom
he went
Cruise.
crazy.
Tom Cruise is weird.
What about Reacher? Did you see Reacher?
I did.
Did you see the second Reacher? I saw it.
Good?
It wasn't as good as the first one. I really liked the first one.
The first one's pretty good.
'Cause I read all of, have you read any of the books? The books are all the exact same, but they're still pretty fun. But anyway, so we're gonna add some video here to the story of Caesar, and then Pecos is going home today. So we're just doing some testing out in public.
Good.
One of the things going in public does is it adds a lot of depth. Because if you train in a vacuum, and this goes for us, this goes for you guys training at home. If you train in a vacuum, you know, just your living room, just your front yard, just your park, whatever, your dog begins to be obedient in a vacuum. Now, you don't have to go 1,000 places for your dog to be obedient everywhere, but you do need to go to a bunch, you know, for the dog to realize how to do that. So like I say, Caesar, he came in, you know, being aggressive towards everybody. And so for him, this will be a good test. He still has a few more days before he goes home. So if he makes some mistakes today, we can, you know, we still have a few more days to work him through it. But code enforcement.
What is that?
Those are guys that come try to check our building and put us out of business.
Who wants that job?
Bureaucrats.
Excuse me. City of Sandy, code enforcement. I have a badge.
I'm here, I can do whatever I want to. I smell bacon. You smell that?
Yeah, there's some big places.
But who has bacon?
Starbucks?
Does Starbucks have bacon?
Mm-hmm.
Bacon coffee for the holidays?
Making coffees?
Coffee.
Coffees.
I'd like some bacon coffee. For my dog.
My dog. They got puppuccinos.
What's a puppuccino?
It's like the little shot thing of whipped cream.
It's just whipped cream?
Yeah, that's all it is. It's like, you want
Do they charge you for it?
No. Like if they see you have a dog.
What about if you're getting a hot chocolate and you say, I want extra whipped cream, would they charge you?
Probably.
So you could just say,
They like dogs more than people.
I would just say that I want hot chocolate and I want a puppuccino, and then you get around their rules.
There you go.
All right. Mark here.
How did your mind go?
Because extra whipped cream. If Joe was here, he'd see the other 4Runner and he'd be like, my rims are better.
Yeah, and that one doesn't have a lift.
No lifts, no rims. Joe would be very upset. All right. So whenever we go out in public, if we're dealing, well, if we're in the training process, if we're dealing with any sort of dog that has had problems, what I like to do is I call it priming the pump. And so what priming the pump is, I'm gonna take like 2 minutes outside the store. Come on, come on. Do a lot of like quick obedience. Come on, sit, sit, sit. Good boy, come on, come on. Good boy, come on. A lot of quick turns, sit, sit. We've done a few little field trips like to the park with this guy.
Yeah.
That's what, like I say, the last few days is us gonna be doing more of this kind of stuff. Because you can tell he's not quite in his element here. And so I'm gonna be very careful. Now the store does allow dogs. That doesn't mean we need to be irresponsible. So like, we're gonna go in, if I see any signs, I'm gonna get away from people. He's a little bit jumpy right now. Like even on very low levels, he's showing a reaction, even though we're like level 8, which is normally like what he works at. Actually, he normally works at like 12 or 15. So even on a low level, he's a little bit jumpy. That's just because his adrenaline's up and he's like, I'm not quite sure what to do here. And that's why this is good for him. This is like a little, nope, down, down. Good boy. And so often priming the pump is I'll do some really quick obedience. But what I think with him, what's even better for priming his pump is to do a down stay and kind of let some of that adrenaline bleed out of him, let him feel a little bit more comfortable. So like I say, if I start seeing him loading up or elevating or snowballing or whatever we're calling it, if I start seeing him do that, I'm gonna real quick do some step back recall. So yeah, we're gonna be sly and take the video camera in there. So follow us in. So we've been in the store a few minutes.
The next one you get one of these.
So that's kind of what I like to see. He noticed the person. Like I say, 3 weeks ago, he would have lost his marbles. But now he noticed, but he didn't react. Now, had he been a touch more interested, I would have, done a step back recall this way. Sit. Good. Down. Good. Yes, your mind's getting more clear. The more we're doing this, the more clear his mind is. Out in the parking lot just 5 minutes ago, he was like all jittery all over the place, but now, he couldn't sit her down very well. But he's doing better. All right, we'll follow you some more.
Yeah, Vanessa needs one of those.
A shark?
Yeah.
It's $99?
It's the best, though. You don't have to be cleaner, you just steam the floor.
So anyways, we call it structured motion, structured
Down. Down.
non-motion.
Down.
So when there's people around, I can keep him moving or work on a sit, work on a down. There's people down these aisles. Good boy. Down. Good boy. And so sometimes I call it marinating. I want him to be, nope, down. Good boy. I want him to be around the things and just kind of just be. So there's a bunch of people around in the aisles and he's just kind of hanging out. What are you whining about? Because you're a German Shepherd?
Yep.
Good boy. Yeah, let's keep going this way. Come on. Very careful about how I'm handling. I'm not giving a lot of leash. In case he did make a bad choice, I'm still just right here. But the leash is still loose. Hola, ¿qué tal? Estamos aquí con César. Estamos en Lowe's. Y hay un montón de gente, pero él no está haciendo caso a ellos. Así que a nosotros nos gusta venir a lugares como estos para que podamos probarlo, a ver cómo él se comporta cuando hay gente presente. Sit. Good. Down. Good boy. Pero César está portándose muy bien, aunque hay mucha gente por ahí. Come on.
I kept Homer in here.
You brought Homer here?
Spencer, yeah.
Yeah?
That was good.
How'd he do?
He did good. For leash and for the break time.
There's people up and down these aisles and he's not reacting at all. This is great for him. Now what may be different is if someone came up to him and started talking to him. But then if he started getting a little bit out of control, I'd have him sit her down or make sure he wasn't being aggressive. He's wanting to surge a little bit. Hey, Casey. So it's kind of funny. I was mentioning, hey, if someone talked to him, he might have a problem with it, and sure enough, he did. So as those guys were talking to us, talking to Sarah, scoping out Sarah. You want to go get me to get their number?
It's fine.
Okay. I won't tell your husband. As they were talking to us, he kind of reacted a little bit. Now, so what that tells us, like I say, is we were looking for the holes in his training. And we found one here that when a stranger comes and talks to him. Now the good thing, the silver lining here, is that everyone else he ignores, and so now we're down to just like one little thing because with a little bit of correction, he was like, okay, I'm not gonna bark anymore. And so we're able to get him under control. And so, like I say, the last few days we'll just be doing this. Sometimes in aggression, this is like the hardest part, where you get to a part to where you have to choreograph like this scenario so that you can actually work on it, and it's tough because we got to make sure everyone's safe and stuff like that. But like I say, the good thing was when he first came to us, nope, down, all the way, down, good boy. When he first came to us, he was barking with some serious intent, you know, every time he saw anybody. Now the only way we can get him to bark is if someone's like looking at him, talking to him. So, but like I say, you ignored everyone else. Now we just got to work on that kind of stuff, huh, buddy? Just a few more days of that, and you should be good. And he really should. A few days of that, and he should really understand the concept. And then we'll teach his owners how to stay on top of that same thing. So, this guy's done a nice job at transforming in just the past month.